As spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the ex-military Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran. The most recent, the reigning Home Story Cup champion, it is GuMiho. I'll try to fix the gap. Is that better? Hold on. Hold on. Is that? I think so. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you. Gracias, papi, gracias. As we are going to be settling into our ZvT. Here we go. And again, we have seen quite a lot from GuMiho as of late. He has been rising through the ranks, and especially at Home Story Cup, we got to see GuMiho flex his TVT and his TVP, but what about his TVZ? I feel like this is the matchup that I think I would go as far as to say that this is the weakest, this is GuMiho's weakest matchup. I mean, everyone has the weakest matchup. I feel like GuMiho has a little bit less flexibility against Zerg players, but still very unorthodox. I'll always remember his best of 7 against several Lords at the start of this year or the end of last year. Just a crazy matchup where he did take maps off of several, did go down in the end, but we saw some crazy builds going into mech, going into these more crazy BC, into bio openers as well, proxy BC even at times. GuMiho's an animal, and we'll see how he compares to Rogue. Likewise, Rogue, he did relatively recently come back from the military. I say recently, it was like 6 months ago. Yeah, around 6 or so months ago, Rogue did return. And he has been rising through the ranks. I mentioned previously how it was a bit of an unfortunate time to return for Trap and Rogue as well. Trap and Rogue, they came back at around the same time, and because of when they came back, it meant that they could not compete in EWC. They could not compete in Esports World Cup because they missed the entire year, the entire circuit of gaining points, so it was just a really unfortunate time for their return. But despite that, both Trap and Rogue have been on that grind. They've been grinding, they've been improving, they've been getting better and better results. Most recently, Rogue, he infamously did defeat Clem, I believe was it at Star Zagora? I believe, at the Bulgarian event? No, sorry, it wasn't that. It was the Big Lulu Cup, if I recall correctly, where Rogue, he was able to flex the Mass Overseer style against Clem. Just Mass Overseer, Mass Changelings, of course leading into all these Nidus Worms and just non-stop aggression. It was just, yeah, really interesting way to approach things. A very unique approach is maybe a better way of putting it from the side of Rogue. And yeah, I mean, he was able to take down Clem in his prime not too long ago. But we'll see how he compares to GuMiho. Because you know what? Clem, he might be the reigning world champion, but GuMiho, he's the Home Story Cup champion. We'll see. GuMiho is a different beast, different animal. Despite that, third CC, so 3CC opener here out of GuMiho, going for something more economic. Into a 1-1-1, into, I would imagine, Banshee play. Meanwhile, Rogue going Hatch Gas Pool into a third. Standard opener here by Rogue, likewise from GuMiho as well. We're settling it. Do I see in the chat? Tira tu papi. Sí, papi, sí. Tírate. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos. Hope you're doing well. As for now, GuMiho going to be hunting down that Overlord. Does lift the racks for good reason, I would imagine, as we are not going for an add-on swap. Interesting. So I would imagine a Hellion Liberator-based opener instead, as there is no Tech Lab on the way because the Rax is floated, bearing in mind that Rogue is fully aware as well. Because Rogue knows that the Rax was in the air, he knows that there's no Banshee, but there is a BC. Let's go. Fusion Core gets placed, Tech Lab is on the way, and GuMiho is opening up with the Battle Cruiser. Now, typically, traditionally, BC openers lead into mech, but we have seen a rise in popularity of BC openers into bio instead. So my eyes are on GuMiho. We have a Tech Lab on the way. Link Scout does dip in, checking the vision here. Rogue, he does not see the Tech Lab, does not see the production. Rogue is in the dark. Rogue, he's in the dark. He has no idea what's going on. So far, spreading creep, trying to maintain himself. So far, defending and deflecting those Hellions. And the BC production will soon begin. Meanwhile, Rogue's queen count is still looking quite healthy. Again, there are no spores because there is no banshees, and Rogue, he's aware of that, so no reason to make spores. That may be the downfall of Rogue. He has to be careful. He's still making more queens. Queen count looking healthy. Double Evo Chamber on the way. 4 double upgrades, I would imagine, for Ling Bane. Which means no Roach Warren. Hellions, they try to dive in. So far, good deflection here by Rogue. He does maintain himself, he does hold on. Does defend. Link Scout gets attempted, Rogue sees nothing, and there it is, Stim. This is what I was waiting for. I was waiting for either Stim, or I was waiting for extra factories. It is BC into Buyer, not into Mech. And this could catch Rogue off guard, but thankfully Rogue is going for melee upgrades. He's getting ready for Ling Bane. He's not investing too heavily into roaches. Meanwhile, Hellions, they go for the dive! And they bust into the natural. Lings, they do buy some time. Nice wall off. Hellions, a lot of them going to be going down, but they do break through. They break through into the main. Lings go down. Worker's going to get roasted. They do try to wall off, but the last Evo Chamber is just a little too late. Drones are going to be going down. They're getting 4 or 5 drone kills. So far, 7 in total, but it's a one-way trip, and the Hellions, they are going to fall. So decent damage. Meanwhile, BC teleports across the map, gets a queen, takes down a queen, going for the mineral line. Does focus fire another worker, takes down the Spore. Spore does dish out a lot of damage. No transfuse. No transfuse available, or no transfuse was there. As the BC gets 5 kills, heading into the main, going for more queens. Alas, they should be safe and sound, getting another 2 drones. Getting 12 workers in total, and the BC survives. That's what's most important here. The BC does survive, does get out. Lair is on the way. Remember, the Lair was delayed in favor of double Evo Chamber and double upgrades, so Rogue was cutting corners, Rogue was being greedy. As a result, late Spire. Late Spire, GuMiho building up on 2 bases, getting his 3rd, 2nd factories on the way. This tells us that GuMiho, he is going to be setting up for eventually a 3rd and 4th base saturation. So he should be taking extra gases. But the early 2nd factory is really interesting to me. We don't often see that. I mean, we don't often have the economy for that either. Going into earlier Widow Mines. BC racing back. Are we rushing into Drilling Claws? I mean, we're waiting for the armory, I would imagine. Meanwhile, Rogue is embracing Ling Bane. Baneling Nest on the way. Into eventually Baneling Speed, but again, this all was delayed because of the aggression, because of the run-by. What I will say, though, is that Drone Cannon is looking relatively healthy. He's building back up, and yep, there it is. I was really curious, but double factories leading into really fast Drilling Claws. You don't often see this. You don't often see a player rushing into Drilling Claws of all upgrades. So, bold move here by GuMiho. Interesting. And with that, of course, detection is going to be required to focus down those Widow Mines. They can gain more value over time. Lings, they threaten a dive. Baiting out the mine shot. Nice on Burrow. Nice on Burrow. Does focus down one of the queens. Clutch pick up here from GuMiho. Lings, they go for the dive, and the mine shot goes off. Decent connection. Decent connection. I did hear the BC teleport. There we go, into the main. BC teleports in. Queens, they were out of position. They rotate back home. BC wreaking havoc. The Bio Army stims in once again. Remember, Baneling Speed was delayed. Baneling Speed is not ready. He wants a hat-trick. Ooh, doesn't get it. Base does survive. GuMiho going for a double drop on the right-hand side. Attempting to pull Rogue apart. Getting into the mineral line. And drones are going down. Oh, the friendly fire. No friendly fire there. Nice on Burrow here from GuMiho. Doesn't waste the shots. And mine shots on the Ling Bane. Nice connections. Drop on the right hand side. Takes down the expansion. And GuMiho is pulling Rogue apart. The base goes down. Drops into the natural. Just keeps him busy. Sniping more queens. And even more drones as well. Clutch transfuse. Rogue will be barely keeping his queens alive. GuMiho gets the hell out of there. Rogue attempts to run by, but GuMiho is ready. He's ready, he's in position. Back at home, he defends. He defends, and the mine shots are going to reset. Remember, Drilling Claws. Drilling Claws was researched. Marine's going to be going down. Spore repositioning. BC into the main. Bio Army moving out. Gets eyes on the Banelings. The Banelings are denied. More queens going down as well. Rogue going for a desperate counterattack, but there's an army back at home. Banelings rolling in. Mine shots going off, trying to force friendly fire. Oof. Banelings go down, and the Lings, they do overwhelm. Not bad. They are getting some damage here, and we're making 3 Widow Mines at a time. That's a lot of mines. Oh my god. A lot of mine shots going off. Meanwhile, across the map, everything's on fire. The 4th base is going down. The 5th base went down as well. Base after base falling. Rogue does get into the mineral line, though, and he does kill every single SCV. There's no kill counts, but that's 41 SCVs going down in total. GuMiho, he loses his economy. That should not have happened. That should not have happened. It should have pulled away. At the same time, though, even though Rogue has a healthier drone count, he's not mining properly. He's not mining efficiently, I should say. Going for another run by. As Rogue is long distance mining. Lings are cleaned up. Rogue force back. GuMiho still being active, still maintains that supply lead, that army supply lead. GuMiho's down in SCVs, but mate, he has mules. Who needs workers when you have mules, Pappy? Let's go. The mules are all you need. And GuMiho is looking to knock down that 4th base once again, just never allowing Rogue to recover. These Widow Mines have been so oppressive. The drop play as well. Banelings, they roll in, they crash into Marauders more than anything. Rogue going for another run by. Mine shots going off on the Banes. Lings, they deny the 3rd. 3rd base is denied. The game is getting chaotic. Mine shots going off here on the Lings. Oh. GuMiho is breaking through, at least is trying to. Mine shots going off once again. And GuMiho is being denied. As Rogue, he's racing back home for the surround. Oh my god. Even forcing friendly fire. And Rogue holds. Rogue key defense, he saves the expansion. GuMiho is still not done. Jesus, he's just so active. He doesn't stop. Calm down. Denies the 5th. But the 4th base gets up. The 4th base is saturated. Rogue, he can recover. He just needs more time. And that's time that GuMiho is not giving him. GuMiho, he has no chill. No chill whatsoever. Zipping in once again, though, another Ling run by. Gets into the mineral line. He's going down. GuMiho is gaining ground, though. Efficient trades. Slingbane crashes in. The splits are okay, but GuMiho just doesn't have enough. Even the Marauders going down to the Banelings. And Rogue barely holds on. You can see the supplies are neck and neck. They're both very low. But Rogue, he saves the expansion. And GuMiho, he's down to how many SCVs? 28. 28 SCVs. Really what is winning Rogue this game is the non-stop run bys at the 3rd. This 3rd base, it's been annihilated twice now, losing every single SCV. And GuMiho is running out of steam. GuMiho is running out of steam, running out of army. Oh my god. Oh, the mine shots. Jesus. Mine shot's gonna be going off. There's one mine shot left. And we come in for the surround. GuMiho forced to pick up. Widow Mines are not gonna be cleaned up though. Another Overseer on the way. GuMiho falling back. GuMiho still maintains the supply lead, just barely. An army supply lead, I should emphasize. Lings, they crash in. Nice spread here from GuMiho. The Banelings, they don't really do much. And nice snipes. GuMiho kites back. The target firing gets all the Banelings. Oh my god, they keep coming. They just keep coming. As GuMiho is out trading Rogue, but Rogue has a better economy. That's the problem here. Rogue, he's on 1.5 base economy. If Rogue was denied the 4th base, it'd be a different story. GuMiho is still just muling his heart out. So yeah, over time, GuMiho is running out of steam. What GuMiho is really hoping for is a mine shot. It's a juicy mine connection. Nice spreads here by Rogue. Splits off his Lings. Shuts down the army. Oh. So mine shot does go up. Decent connection on the Ling Bane. Oh my god. And Rogue will lose everything. Yeah, the entire army goes down. Very nice Widow Mine shots here from GuMiho. Rogue, he's getting 2 bases up and running though. GuMiho, he has to stop this. He has to stop the economy. He has to stop it. Oh, good. Once again, friendly fire on the Marines. Yeah, the Widow Mine's working against GuMiho. GuMiho again, he's still down to 31 SCVs. Again, barely an economy. Still just rallying across the map, heavily relying here on the Widow Mines. He's trying to break through, trying desperately. Matchup's going up. Ooh, no major connections. Much better trade here from Rogue. Oh my god, I spoke too soon. But I think Rogue is on it. Rogue, he has 3-3. He has 3-3 upgrades. Does overextend. Rogue, he overextends. No Banelings behind this. Banelings just now morphing in. GuMiho rallying forward, picking up and landing his main. Pushing towards the bases. Damage are done. Still just a very tense game state here. I want to give the edge to Rogue, but I mean, it's still GuMiho. Just going up. Decent Bailey connections. Nice spread here out of GuMiho. But it will lose every single Marauder. Marauders go down. Rogue, he holds on. Defends. Vipers have arrived. Let's go. GuMiho still rallying in. Again, this is still just a very cheap army. He's still going. Oh, the mind shots. Better connections this time. Yeah, much better connections. They take down most of the Link Bane. Oh no! No splits! Oh my god. He picks up just in time. Hot pickup out of GuMiho. Still rallying across the map. The CC barely survives. Hopefully he repairs. There we go. He repairs, establishing the CC. Oh my god, Mind Shots are denied. The power bombs here, they take down the final medevac. GG gets called. And Rogue, he survives. He takes game number 1. Whew. But he had to fight for it. Jesus. A very intense game 1. Rogue, he barely comes out on top. Again, a crucial pivotal moment, as we were pointing out, what won Rogue this game with the Ling run bys. The Ling counterattacks at the 3rd CC. One too many times. GuMiho did not pull the SCVs away, and he lost everything. He lost so many SCVs at that 3rd base, time and time again. And with that, his economy was crippled. He was never able to really recover from that, and he was just outscaled. He was just outpaced, outscaled over time. GG. Rogue does take a lead. Rogue takes the lead, just catching up in the chat. Thank you so much to Tater Tutor for a gifted sub, to Fractal in the chat. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. Thank you so much for the support in the community. We do appreciate it. Do appreciate it as we are jumping into game number 2. I think Go to Bed stream will be hot. Take care, papi. Take care. Share. Buenas noches. I know it's getting quite late in the land of Europe. I know it's getting quite late. Buenas noches. As we're settling into game number 2 and spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Zerg player for Team Falcons leading the series 1-0. It is Rogue. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, down in the series. We'll see if we can bounce back and force the ace match. It is GuMiho. Here we go. Oh, as it's been a while. Okay, it's been a while since we've seen a 2x Reaper opener. I would imagine that's what we're seeing here. I mean, GuMiho, he has been fond of going for a low ground 1-1 setup, racks into factory, into CC on the low ground to just cut some corners. I'm curious which one it's going to be, as he's setting up. Meanwhile, Rogue, oh my god, opening up gas first. Gas pull into delayed hatchery here. Rogue with a very aggressive build. And I think I want to favor GuMiho. So there's a couple of things going on. One, because of the opener of Rogue, because of the faster gas, what does that mean? That means fast link speed, that means potentially fast Roach Warren, Bane Bust as well, aggression regardless. Aggression is going to be available here to Rogue. GuMiho back at home is setting up with a low ground wall off. He should be walling off with the factory as well. Again, single Reaper opener into CC, into factory on the low ground. Is that going to be enough to survive and defend though? The downside is that the production is going to be exposed. The production is going to be vulnerable to aggression. As link speed is on the way, and do you see what I see? Rogue did not pull out of gas. He pulled one out, but not everything. We know what this means. I'm feeling a Bane Bust. I'm feeling a Bane bust here from Rogue. He does scout the low ground. He does see that the production is going to be vulnerable. And we're waiting for that 50 gas, and we're waiting for the Baneling Nest. As factory has been placed. Lings, they pull back home. 50 gas available. Waiting for the minerals. And show us what you got. So far, the Reaper is being deflected. As GuMiho is coming in for the scout, he sees how late the expansion is. He knows. Gets behind the mineral line, and he should get eyes on the researching spawning pool and the continued gas saturation. Yeah, big tail, big scouts. Now, this could be either Bane Bust, Roach Warren, Fast Lair. We still don't know ourselves. I mean, Rogue, he has the gas for it, but he hasn't spent his money yet. I believe to try to hide it from the Reaper. I would imagine. As Rogue has built up his gas, now pulling out. Oh. Dropper Lords. Oh, that I was not expecting. I was leaning towards Bane Bust, but no. Overlord speed is on the way. This should be for Dropper Lord play. Okay, as Overlords are scattered around the map. GuMiho getting into his 1-1-1. He's settling in. So far, Rogue's still saturating. GuMiho moves out, so you can see the Overlord getting in position. And what I will say, though, is that Rogue actually doesn't really have many links to work with. Is he just going Overlord speed just to scout? Yeah, he is. Okay. He's just going for the scout. Never mind. No aggression here. He's just droning. He's just droning up. Going for the Overlord scout into the main. Fast Overlord, I should emphasize as well. And with this, he will confirm the 1-1-1. Does confirm. Meanwhile, more importantly, he also confirms the second Rax before CC. There is no command center, not yet. Very committed two-base play here out of GuMiho. Moving out with a Hellion. Wait, what's going on? So we do have a Hellion drop opener out of GuMiho into a 3-1-1 setup with a very delayed third. This looks like a borderline two-base all-in. Not gonna lie. It's a very late third base. Meanwhile, Rogue back at home, he keeps up. His queens are in position. Lings have amassed. And GuMiho does not break in. He does not break into the main. It's going to be a Roach one follow-up. I do like this. Roach play can be very safe in ZvT. And considering the scattered two-base all-in, Roaches are going to be ideal. So it's really safe play here out of Rogue. Lings, they come in for a surround. I'll pick up here out of GuMiho. Third TC is on location for GuMiho. This makes sense considering how late it is. Again, this is a very delayed third TC, so to make up for it, it's going to be on location. This tells us that it is not a two-base all-in, but this is still very aggressive and very committed play. Again, because of how late the third base is, it means that everything else is faster. The bio production, the stim, the medevacs as well. So GuMiho will soon hit the field with an army. It's going to be on Rogue to defend and to survive. Overlord Scout confirms the production. Doesn't quite get eyes. There we go. We'll soon get eyes on the CC. Sees that it's on location being built. Nice surround. Takes down some of the Hellions. 2 Hellions left. Roaches are building up. And here comes GuMiho rallying everything across the map again. It's such an unorthodox move out. There is no armory, so there's no Hellbats. It's Marines with stim. He's going for the Queens. The Queens are exposed. He does not get them, though. That's controlled here by Rogue. He does pull away, saves the Queen. Clutch Transfuse. GuMiho rotating, but again, he's just not really gaining too much value here. Lings, they get across the map. They force back the Hellions. And Rogue defends. He survives. Rogue, he's holding. Rogue is intentionally not saturating his third base. He's making more Roaches. He's making more Roaches. More Overlords on the way. Rogue is looking. It looks like he's setting up for a big counterattack, specifically with Roach Speed. Roach Speed is halfway done. Rogue, he's building up more Roaches. Ravager's now morphing in as well. I would imagine he's going to be reinforcing with Lings. And Rogue is gearing up for a massive move out. And GuMiho, I mean, this build, this game has just been so awkward. Like, there's not much to defend. There's no Sim City. Tank production was delayed because of the Hellions and into the rest of the bio. Fourth base is denied, but I don't think Rogue cares about the fourth. Oh, it's cancelled. Marines, they dive into the middle line. Drones going down. Very nice damage. Taking down a queen. Getting 4 drones, but here comes the counterattack. Here comes the all-in. Oh my god, the SCVs are exposed! So many SCVs gonna be going down. Back at home, Rogue defends. Chases down the SCVs. And GuMiho is stuck on 2 bases. Stuck on a 2-base economy. The medevac! Oh my god, full medevac goes down. GuMiho has to get the hell out of here. Picks up, saves some of the SCVs. Not bad. I'll save him with the medevacs. But GuMiho cannot expand. He cannot take this third. It's not going to happen. Rogue is in position. Will perpetually deny the third. That is his win condition. From here, Rogue can now drone. He can start droning, start taking. Just contain GuMiho on 2 bases for as long as possible. That's all Rogue needs to do. There's no need for Rogue to push into the natural. Like, it's going to be a death wish here. Just trying to break this position. Pushing into 3 tanks, it's not going to happen. But he doesn't need to. Rogue can just chill. He can just chill, he can just calm down. He can settle in. GuMiho's moving out. Double drop across the map towards the main. Rogue's somewhat in position. Yeah, he's in position. He's able to keep up. Queen is going to go down. Rogue's still checking for a third. GuMiho, he expands elsewhere. Goes for the linear third instead. And Rogue is maxed. Rogue at this point, he's maxed out. He's maxed out on a less than 3 base economy. He's on 62 workers. I don't think this was necessary. Like, this is like Rogue doesn't really have a great economy, and he's not maxed out on the best army either, just purely Roach Ravager. But I mean, you know what, it works. It's fine. I mean, it kind of works. I do favor GuMiho's efficiency here as he picks up into the main. And again, pushing into this tank line is not going to be easy. Rogue trying to keep up. Arguably, GuMiho is about to have a better economy once he gets his third base up and running. And Rogue, he will soon have to pull the trigger. GuMiho is catching up in supply. Tower gets knocked down. Rogue, he's stuck with this subpar army. GuMiho's all over him. Okay, there we go. He does pull the trigger. He collapses in. Rallies everything across the map, and he will get on top of the tanks. The tanks are exposed. Yeah, 3 tanks going down. The bio army does crush the roaches on the right-hand side. What about on the left, though? What about the left? As Rogue comes in for the concave, takes down the SCVs, takes down the mineral line. At the same time, GuMiho takes down the expansion. Trading a base for a base. Rogue backs off. And Rogue is still remaxing on purely Roach. Stuck on roaches. And I am concerned that Rogue is going to be outscaled over time. As GuMiho is getting into 2-2 upgrades, so he's going to be exceeding the upgrades of Rogue. Likewise, Rogue's still stuck on Roach Ravager. Not even Ling Bane Roach Ravager. Just straight up Roach Ravager here instead. But if it goes down. Okay, not bad. Yo, we have 4 Vikings? Jeez, okay. GuMiho being active. Supply blocks Rogue. Rogue is moving out. Again, I don't think Rogue can quite break this. He can try to overwhelm by attacking from multiple angles. True. Coming in for a flank. Last GuMiho, he does respond. Files, they don't quite connect. Up! Towards the end, they graze the army. But nice splits here from GuMiho, and GG gets called. Yeah, Rogue, he just rams his face against a brick wall, and GuMiho holds, and we're going to the ace match. GG. Again, Rogue, he was stuck with a very, very subpar army. Roach Ravager and purely Roach Ravager. Also, Rogue never droned. I believe that Rogue was hoping that GuMiho would push out. If GuMiho pushed out and if they engaged in the center of the map, I was favoring Rogue. But with purely just nothing but Roach Ravager, even though Rogue was maxed, it's always important to note that the soup does lie. The soup does lie. Roach Ravager is a very inefficient army, especially as the game progresses. It just falls off. It just falls off. It doesn't scale well into a longer game state, and GuMiho just, yeah, outpaced him. Was able to just outpace him and build up a greater army. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going all the way to game 3. We're going to the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. The Vikings favored themselves multiple times over. They did supply the block quite heavily. Did slow down Rogue, and again, Rogue, he was just stuck with Roach Rav. What's he gonna do? And here we go. We're going to game 3. We have made it all the way to that ace match, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of King's Cove, we have the blue Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg, representing Team Falcons, being forced into a tied-up series. Can he bring it back? Can he bring it home? It is Rogue. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, the reigning Home Story Cup champion, tying up the series. Momentum is on his side. Can he keep it going? Can he claim the series and advance on to the semifinals? It is GuMiho. Here we go. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. The fatigue is getting to me a little bit, but it's okay. I'm sipping on some coffee. I'm holding on. We're good. We are good. Oh. As we are calming things down here in King's Cove. King's Cove is known for being quite a large map. One of the larger maps in the map pool. Top three just behind Abyssal Reef and Neon Violet Square. On top of that, we do have a very defendable 3-base setup. The natural, of course, has a very narrow ramp coming into the natural. On top of that, you have the high ground advantage, the concave, the narrow choke point, so very defendable here on 2 bases. Likewise, the 3rd base as well, a ramp coming into the 3rd. So your 3-base setup is very secure, very fortifiable. It is the 4th base that is more exposed. The 4th base, either here in the center or here on the left-hand side, can be more difficult to really take advantage of. But the rush distance by ground is quite long as well. So because of that, we could be in for a long one. We could be here for quite some time, as Rogue is going to be opening up. Ooh, gasless. Let's go. Rogue pulling a dark. Now with this, he's going for a gasless opener. What does this mean? This typically means Roach play. No gas, which means no Ling speed, purely Queen Ling defense. Now, because this map is so defendable on 3 bases, because of the ramps, because of the choke points, you can, as a Zerg player, cut corners and skip Ling speed and skip Lings and defend with purely slow Lings and Queens. It is a greedy thing to do, but on a map like King's Cove, it is viable. It is quite viable here. So we see this kind of opener quite often on maps like King's Cove. We see it on El Dorado. That's another good one for this. Those are the 2 that come to mind. And we do see this on Neon Violet Square as well. And Abyssal Reef. A lot of these big, large maps like Abyssal Reef, Neon Violet Square, King's Cove, El Dorado, that's where you can embrace and go for something like a gasless opener. But I should emphasize as well, just as a bit of a PSA, if you're out there, if you're laddering, if you want to try this at home, be careful. This is done by professionals, and it is very much so map dependent. Don't just do it on like Amygdala, or don't do this on like ley lines. You're gonna get killed. Like, just calm down. Don't do this on Whispers of Gold. No shot, mate. No shot. So be careful out there. Be careful. Open gasless responsibly. As from here, we're settling in. GuMiho opening up with a 3rd CC before Starport. Economic opener out of GuMiho. And Rogue just chilling back at home, cutting corners and going roaches. Again, So because you open gases, because link speed is so late, you just skip it. You just skip link speed entirely, you cut your corners, and you go straight into Roach play instead. Now, this doesn't mean that Rogue has to commit into purely Roach Ravager. I know that that's what we saw last game. That doesn't have to be the case here. This can just be an opener, and this can lead into later link speed and Banelings and lead into Roach Ravager in the mid game. Sorry, Ling Bane Roach Ravager in the mid game is what I meant to say. Which is very much so viable. You know, it's a pretty solid mid-game layer tech composition that can lead you into a higher form of tech. If you invest into melee upgrades, it can lead you into like ultra tech. If you invest into range upgrades, it can lead into Hydra Lurker Viper. So yeah, it's just this kind of opener has been refined over the past couple of years even, by players like Dark and players like Serral, and it can be quite flexible. Can be. Oh my god, we're making it up. Speaking of being defendable on 3 bases, true, very defendable on 3 bases. And you know what? If you're secure in 3 bases, time to make it up here and make it happen. Double armory into a faster factory into mech. We avoided mech for so long here tonight, but we could only avoid it for so long. Let's go, Papi, let's go. As GuMiho is doing what he does best. Now, what's important about mech here is, of course, the new old Cyclone. The Cyclone has since reverted. We have devolved as a people, as a Terran race, to an old iteration of the Cyclone, where now you do require tech labs on your factories for Cyclone production into macro accelerators. Cyclones can now be insane when they mass up. Their range is crazy, by the way, so you can kite very well with them. Personally, I'm not too fond of the decision to revert the Cyclone. Personally, I feel like we acknowledged that the Cyclone was a problem and we evolved past that. There's a reason why the Cyclone was changed, and to bring it back, oh boy, means that this is, oh, hold that thought, Papi, hold that thought. That's not a Cyclone, that's a Thor. We're going for a Thor drop. Quanta, is that you? So this looks like a Quanta build. I would love to ask GuMiho about this, but this does look like a Quanta build. Basically, this looks like a quad drop. What I'm referring to here, 1-1 upgrades, double armory into double Thor into quadruple Thor, quadruple medevac. Do we commit to a quad Thor drop or just 2? I want GuMiho to send it. Go full Quanta, give us 4 medevacs and 4 Thors. We're halfway there. But this does look like the Quanta build. Quanta, for those who don't know, okay, just 2. He was teasing us, Papi. Only 2 Thors into tank production. Almost. For those who don't know, Quanta, he's a Korean Terran player. He's a Korean Terran, and he is known for the quad Thor builds. He popularized it, I want to say back in like 2021, 2022 era of StarCraft. During the COVID era of StarCraft is when that hit the field, and a couple of players were playing around with it. But only 2. Only 2 Thors, then into Cyclones. Okay. Then we can go into the rant about the Cyclones and all that stuff. For now, though, double Thor drop has a lot of potential. Thors, they do a surprising amount of damage to queens and buildings, and they do make their way across the map for some map control. Likewise, Hellions towards the left-hand side. I've been focusing a lot here on GuMiho. Rogue back at home. Is not going Ling Bane Roach Ravager. He's going Roach Ravager into Hydra Lurker Viper. Interesting. Is setting up for that. Again, Viper tech is going to be a big power spike for Rogue if he can get those Vipers. Meanwhile, he's moving out. He's spotted, and he's going to be slowed down. At least attempted to be. Is going for a counterattack. Tanks are in position. Roaches, they can't quite break through, but they do zone away the Thors. Rogue puts the fear into GuMiho, forces him back home, and that means that Rogue is able to freely drone. Freely drone up, take bases, spread creep, set up, settle in. And GuMiho now, he realizes that he can still be active. We'll see where he goes. Didn't Bunny win some games with this in GSL? Yeah, I want to say that there were a couple of Terran players that were enamored with this, like Bunny. I want to say Ryung did it a little bit as well. Like when I think of Korean Terran mech, I think of Bunny and I think of Ryung at times. But here we go, GuMiho trying to establish that 4th base. As we mentioned before, the 4th base is more exposed. You can see you can attack from a full surround angle, essentially. But for the time being, Rogue is chilling. He's chilling back at home. The Vipers have arrived. The Hive is done, of course, gathering energy. We do have the Lurker Den on the way for the eventual Hydra Lurker Viper. But this does mean that GuMiho is freely expanding. It means that he can stabilize and settle into his fourth. But here we go. Rogue is now maxed. He's maxed out. He's about to have 2-2. Or at least +2 carapace. Vipers have arrived. He can abduct. He can blindly cloud. What does he go for? Ideally, should be going for the tanks. Turrets are ready. Vipers, they dive in. Here come the blinding clouds. He gets one. He does get one of the tanks. Who abducts the Thor. Thor's going to go down. Does not target down the Viper in time. Going for the tank as well. But alas, it's barely not enough. Again, it took too long to break through. The tank line does hold. And GuMiho defense. GuMiho, he defends for now. Rogue, what does he remax with? He remaxes with 16 roaches. Personally, especially against a low Hellion count, I wouldn't be opposed to reinforcing with Lings just to be that much faster. But for now, just sticking with Roach Hydra. Just Roach Hydra. No Lurkers yet. He's still working on the upgrades. Once the upgrades kick in, then he can embrace those Lurkers. Until then, though, just purely Roach Hydra. Roach Hydra Viper. Behind this, GuMiho, he didn't lose any SCVs, and he's fortifying himself. He's got 3 tanks on the high ground. He's soon to have 3 tanks on the low ground as well. Thors, Hellbats, all to buffer, all to soak damage, and to protect those tanks. One of the tanks is exposed. One tank goes down. Nice pickoff. Rogue coming in from behind, trying to sneak in towards that third, but he runs into the tanks. Yeah, massive volleys going off. One tank goes down, and he does break through, does get into the mineral line, and SCVs are going to go down. Yeah, Rogue bypasses the main army, takes down 10 SCVs and counting. Tanks out of position. Hellbat's dropping in. Oh my god, back in Heart of the Swarm. The Hellbat drops. And this army is going to be cleaned up for a price, for a cost of 15 SCVs. Likewise, roaches, they burrow into the main, busting into the mineral lines. More SCVs going to be going down. And as damage is being done, Rogue, he is working towards a spire, I would imagine, for a greater spire for Broodlords. Here we go. He is gearing up. 24 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. Does wreak havoc. Getting 28 SCVs. Likewise, GuMiho securing himself. Happy to push in. He is hoping to push forward. So far, Rogue unable to break GuMiho. So far, so good. GuMiho, he's holding on. He's holding on. GuMiho breaking out. We do have Lurkers on the way, but Lurkers, can they really hold against Mech? That's the question. Can Rogue survive this? Can he hold? As GuMiho is finally maxed out, so finally he can move out across the map. He breaks free. Nidus room into the main. Uh-oh. And GuMiho is maxed. You know what that means? That means no production. No production. Nothing to defend. The Nidus will finish. And Rogue, he's going in for the kill. As the Nidus does complete, the army's racing back. Lurkers, they break in, they came with the production. Roaches, they hit the third base, and GuMiho, he races back home. He was out of position. That brutal spine shot's going off, and this may have just won the game. Yeah, here and now. Lurkers just snowballing out of control. Roaches hit the third. Factory's falling down. Roaches, they even coming from behind. Lurkers, they forced out. Forced out of the main. League Roach hits towards the natural. More SCVs going down, just everything's on fire. Rogue wreaking havoc. And GuMiho just can't keep up. He can't keep up. This is the danger of maxing out as well, as you mentioned. If you max, especially as a Terran, there's no production, there's no reinforcements. So GuMiho, he was caught with his pants down. Meanwhile, the roaches are still burrowed, they can still dive in. Can still dive at any moment. Speaking of, another Nidus into the main. And Rogue is remaxing. He's remaxing, building on more lurkers, getting to +3. +1 air attack as well. Not gonna lie. Again, just maintaining that. 10 more SCVs going down. Finally, the roaches that get caught out. We can see GuMiho attempting to go into, I would imagine, BC production. Fusion cores on the way. More starports as well. But GuMiho's just stuck at home. We have more changelings waddling in. Let's go. The changelings. They are spreading out. At this point, Rogue just engulfing the entire map, taking all the bases. Now he's going for that frontal assault. Now, pushing into this tank line is still not going to be easy. He's pushing it. Oh my god, the tank volleys are insane. But here come the yoinks. Yeah, the tank cannon's going to be reset. Still, though, that was a brutal trade. That was 6 lurkers going down and 7 hydras for 5 tanks. Not the most efficient trade here from Rogue. He has to retreat. Meanwhile, BC production has begun. GuMiho, he had a bank to work with, so he can still hold his own. GuMiho still in this game. He is going to rotate. So far, picks off a tank. Does catch a tank. Hydras, they do waddle into the middle line. Oh, the Medevacs. Okay, Medevacs, they survive. Rogue trying to pull apart his opponents, and he will take down some bases. The Hydra run by was a little bit weird. It was the Hydras that get cleaned up. But again, GuMiho is still just contained on these 4 bases. The lone Hydra into the natural. 8 SCVs. Nice Storm did finish. Lurkers, they waddle in. And it's just such an awkward defense here for GuMiho. He's being pulled apart. It's investing into BCs though. And BCs, they teleport on top of the army. Yamada not quite done. Lurkers, they get the hell out of here. They unburrow, not quite into the natural. GuMiho holds. He defends. Now these BCs they're forcing a corrupted transition. Now thankfully, +3 air attack is already on the way for Rogue. He's ready for the BCs. Some already. Yeah, BCs are being kept at home, which means Rogue still has free reign. GuMiho down to 45 SCVs. BCs in position as well. Pushing into a tank line. Yeah, lurkers are going to go down. Trying to abduct. Yeah, a bit of an awkward engagement here from Rogue, but it looks like he still breaks through. Yeah, Corruptors have arrived. They take down 2 of the BCs. And he denies the expansion. And it's one of those things where even though this was an inefficient fight from Rogue, what's important is that he just denies the base. And he can afford to. That's his win condition. Deny the expansion, takes down the CC. Just making sure GuMiho does not get a proper economy up and running. GuMiho collapsing in though. Does collapse forward. Takes down the lurkers. Corruptors, they somewhat trade. They at least clean up all the Medevacs. Medevacs gonna be going down. Likewise, reinforcements, they come in from behind. Once again, a bit of a messy fight here. The Vipers are not quite ready. GuMiho, he defends. He shuts this down. Yeah, the reinforcements that were a little bit misjudged from Rogue rallied into his death. GuMiho gaining some momentum. Takes another CC. Jesus, how many BCs is that? 7! 7 battle cruisers. And can GuMiho win the game with this? Can he win the game with 7 BCs? What is it to defend? There's, I believe, 7 Corruptors? Only 7 Corruptors. Queens are coming forward. Hydras as well. These BCs, they have Yamato. Okay, GuMiho backs off. Never mind. Never mind. He doesn't test his luck. He backs off. As Lings, they do get into the mineral line. Double Nidus here into the main and natural. Ling's going to be distracting. Nidus is denied in the main. Lings are cleaned up. Nidus does complete. And Rogue, he's at least denying some mining in the natural. That Nidus is not going to finish. Meanwhile, Rogue still maxing out. GuMiho, he has now finally, I mean, this entire time for the past like 5+ minutes, he establishes another base. He gets another base up and running, which means GuMiho, he can still maintain himself. He has a comparable army. The BC count getting higher and higher. Still 7 BCs. We're getting there. The BC count is building up. Likewise, so the Corruptors. 14 Corruptors for Rogue. Alongside the Vipers as well. Lings are denied. Oh! Did you break in? And just barely Lings, they bust in. Rogue going for the dive. He wants the BCs. Does force the teleport. GuMiho gets the hell out of there. Pulls out. GuMiho pulls away. More Corruptors in production. I believe there is no, there is no Greater Spire, which is a little bit concerning to me. When and if Rogue cleans up all the BCs, I mean, the Corruptors might just be dead supply. Would be nice to have that Greater Spire. So GuMiho is still stuck at home. That is denied into the main. He has had the changes. Yeah, we've seen a lot of changelings being used here from Rogue. 100%. I mean, he has a lot of overseers. Non-stop changelings. Speaking of, another wave comes out. Wave of changelings. There it is. Greater Spires on the way. So Rogue will soon be ready for that Broodlord transition if need be. Powerbomb's going to be going up. Dives on the army. There's another teleport. GuMiho gets away. Bearing in mind, the teleport also does cleanse the BCs of that powerbomb as well. As a powerbomb does not chase them. Does not stay on. Oh my god. As Rogue is attempting to deny another base. BCs, they catch out the lurkers. Oh, the BCs are popping up. Teleporter's on cool. Oh, he has to get out of here. He has to get the hell out of here. Teleport's on cooldown. GuMiho getting caught out. Yeah, he's getting caught out. So Rogue, he does take notice, dives on the army, and this time he cannot escape. 1 BC goes down. 2 BCs. He's gonna get 3. He's gonna get up to potentially 4. 3, 4 battle cruisers, almost 5. Oh my god, the Thors. Jesus. As the Thors, they somewhat punish. And GuMiho is going to be remaxing, making 3 more BCs at a time. And when the main army does dive in, Nice one in clouds. There's do wreak havoc. Oof. Forward expansion does catch fire. So GuMiho is still trying to hold on. Forced lift, forced out. As you see Rogue coming in first round, he does take down some of these tanks. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 tank kills. Very nice value. 5 tanks for the Lings. I mean, again, we no longer have Hellbats, right? There's what, like 2, 3 Hellions. It's mainly BC, Thor, tank. And what do we go against this? Swarmhost. Let's go. The return of the Swarmhost here. Rogue now fighting for value, fighting for efficiency. Against a more tank-heavy style, against an army that is less mobile, Swarmhost, they can do well. No Broodlords yet. I mean, I feel like it would be a mistake to go into Broodlords because of the high Thor count. So currently the Broodlords are not the answer. If the Thor count gets lower, then you can embrace Broodlords. Until then, though, big shout out to SC2 Full Gab. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time enjoying your high mess sausage. Welcome one and all to the quarterfinals of OlimoLeague. It's been a long day of casting. We've been casting for a very, very long time, and there's no end in sight, Baki. No end in sight. None whatsoever. Let's go. Let's go. Live 24/7, I swear. But someone's gonna cast. What do you mean? If not us, then who, papi? Then who? Este Kalasi. Let's go. I think we're reaching on hour 15. And again, we're still in the quarterfinals. Like, we still have more quarterfinal matches. And then the semis, and then the final. Mate. We're gonna go up to 17 hours? Maybe. Probably, actually. Yeah, 100%. It's fine. It'll be fine. I mean, especially with games like this. Local save's going to be coming in. Hitting the front line. We have nice runs towards the right and left hand side. Oh. Going for the tanks. He gets one. Gets one tank. Let's go. We just have to do that a couple more times. Focus on the high ground. Massive spine shots going off. Last rogue, he has to pull back. Tanks do bullying him back. Likewise, how many BCs? 11. Ooh, 11 battle cruisers here. That's 11 Yamatos. Speaking of, here they come. Get the massive Yamato. Yamato's going up. They teleport away. One BC goes down. And he's diving on the army. He's chasing down the lurkers. The BCs. They're going ham. They're going crazy. They're going to chase down the main army. Likewise, Thors are coming in to support. Rogue is in trouble. He has to race back. Again, these swarmers, what do they mean? They signify dead supply. They're not helping. Know without the Locust Wave. And GuMiho is looking to snowball out of control. He breaks through the front line, takes down the Forest of Spines. Nidus back home to get the hell out of here. Trying to pull away. And GuMiho, has he finally done it? Again, what does he need? He needs 5 bases and a dream. Sorry, 5 bases and some BCs, baby. That's all he needs. To get a 6th base, to be fair. Corrupted, they go for the dive, mass power bomb. This time no teleports. BC should finally go down. Black-White Thors are being overwhelmed. The Nidus from the Locust Wave coming in. And Rogue, he has done it. He shuts down every single battle cruiser. And GG gets called. Rogue, he does it. He cleans up the army, and Rogue will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. God. GG, well played. Honestly, it was a really good move out. It was a really good move out from GuMiho when he was able to pop off with his Yamatos, able to overwhelm the ground army. The problem, though, as we saw, is that even though GuMiho had momentum and he was able to gain ground, Rogue had a bank, so he just remaxed. He remaxed, and it did seem like GuMiho, he overstayed his welcome. After breaking through the first wave of defense, I do feel like he probably should have calmed things down and backed off, just because, of course, he wasn't quite as prepared for another remax. What I mean by that, unlike for the first attack, he did not have another teleport. He did not have another teleport available, so he could not preserve his army, could not preserve those BCs. It was more one and done there, and GG. GG, well played. Rogue takes the series. Whew. GG, well played. Rogue, he does eliminate GuMiho from OlimoLeague and does advance on to the semifinals. And with that, we're halfway through the quarterfinals. Let's go. We have 2 semifinalists so far. We have Young Yakov, who took down Creator earlier, and Rogue, who just took down GuMiho. And now we're getting ready for our next quarterfinals match. It's going to be a PvP, a classic PvP, if you will, between Classic and Hero. Let's go. We are here to embrace that mirror matchup.